Hi everybody. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about something in this book, Radical Hope by Dr. Kelly Turner. This was a follow-up to Radical Remission, which she published years earlier. And let me read the subtitle for you, which is the main premise behind Kelly's work. So subtitles: 10 key healing factors from exceptional survivors of cancer and other diseases. And really, Kelly has done decades worth of work working out what these key factors are based on interviews that she has with patients as part of her research in her program. And one of the factors of the 10, I realized when I started reading the book earlier this year, I had a defining moment in my own story where one of the factors, it seemed like it came out of nowhere, and I wanted to share it because it seems very subtle and unimportant, but it's actually been one of the most important things, one of a handful of reasons why I'm still here today. And it's around personal agency and personal responsibility for your health and wider for your whole life. So my experience of it came when I look at my stage 3 approach and my stage 4 approach, they're very different. And looking back now, I can see there was a defining moment where they changed. So stage 3 was emergency surgery, chemo, grieving, masses of pain, learning to live with a stoma, scans, trying to detox, doing bits and bobs to help me outside of the traditional approach, waiting lists to get my stoma reversed, stoma reversal, back to scans again. I think because of the emergency nature of it, and because it felt like it came out of nowhere, there was quite a lot of rushing. That's how it felt like to me. And I felt like I was a passenger in that journey. There was a process. I followed it. I was a good patient. I did what I could that was widely accepted, and that was it. And then I got called in after an annual scan to be told I had a spread to my liver and both lungs. And really, something changed in that room. The answer to one question. So my surgeon had called me in to go through results. He went through them with me. He asked me a question at the end. Is there anything else that I can do for you, Jenny? Bearing in mind the answer was probably going to be no, because his specialty was colorectal and GI tract. I needed liver and thoracic surgeons and medical teams moving forward. So the answer was going to be no. My response, I was sitting in my chair, sitting on the edge, leaned forward, looked at him square in the face, and I said to him, you better get me the best goddamn surgeons that I need for this. And I said it with a smile on my face. And that was it. That was the moment I chose to stop being a passenger and to start driving my own health journey. And what that looked like afterwards wasn't me rejecting things or seeming to be like a rebel or defiant. What that meant was I was still in the system, but my relationship to the system changed. And I saw everybody, who, whether they were in the traditional medical approach or whether they were in, something a bit more holistic and integrative that isn't part of the traditional approach, I saw everyone as equals. I saw them all as experts and masters in their own specialty. And I sought out, listened, and asked questions and was curious about what they did and what they could do to potentially support and why. And I took that information, and sometimes I knew enough to be able to make a decision myself. And sometimes I didn't feel I had the knowledge to do that. And I would speak to my integrative doctor about it, and we would have a conversation between us. But ultimately, the decision always came back to me. And that's how I've run my health journey ever since. Everyone is an equal. I do not give the responsibility or the decision to other people. I treat them with respect, and I listen, and I try and understand as much of the picture as I can. And then what I think is the best decision for me, and I make a commitment and I do the thing. It seems small, but that was a defining moment for me, and is a small handful of the reasons that I'm still here today. And now that I know that, I don't even think I had the capacity during stage 3 to be able to do that. So this isn't about me looking back at stage 3 and saying that I was wrong and shaming myself, because I think I was in deep grief and loss and was rushing through a process and had major surgery and had to allow my colon and digestive system to adapt to how the plumbing had changed, basically, and dealing with chemo and dealing with detoxing everything out and the side effects that come with that. So this is not about me saying that you have to take responsibility and that's it. That stage 3 was necessary. I think if I knew what I knew now, I would have paused more to try and create some space for me to be able to have the capacity to take personal responsibility, because not every moment can have advocacy in it because of the circumstances that are around it. But when you do have capacity, sometimes it rises out of you and you don't even realise that's what's happening at the time. So I just wanted to leave that with you. I guess the ask is to think about, if you don't have capacity right now, sometimes you have to create a pause and just stop. And it creates enough space to be able to do that, and to leave you with the message that we don't always have choice about the road that we have to follow, but we do have a choice about whether our hands are on the wheel or not, and what side tracks we choose to take to support ourselves. That's the story I wanted to leave you with. I actually wrote a piece on Substack on this, so if you want to see the long form with a bit more of the detail and the context around it, it's a little tidier than me speaking into a video. I'll add the link below for anybody whose preference is written words rather than audio and video. And then I'll see you in the next video. I thought I'd maybe talk you through a few things from a recovery perspective, what I do and some of the tools that I use to support me.